Yo, what's up, dudes? Good morning. It's freezing cold out this morning. Trying to get my hands warm before I start cutting. We got a cut test on the CJRB Pyrite, my favorite budget button lock. And I thought I would, I've had this for a while. Never did a cut test with it for whatever reason, but there is actually a Wharncliffe version coming of the Pyrite. It's out now at the Artisan Cutlery website. And I thought in honor of that, we would do a cut test with the original Pyrite here. I've ordered mine already, the Wharncliffe version. It should be awesome. Got good reviews so far. It's got hole deployment instead of thumb studs, and it's a Wharncliffe, so really cool. This knife is using CJRB and Artisan Cutlery's proprietary blade steel. It's called AR-RPM 9, and I actually haven't done a cut test with it yet, at least officially. I've been cutting with it for a while, but not an official cut test. So I'll be really curious to see how it does on the cuts. If you're new to the cut testing videos, I cut the same things on the same materials, same amount of cuts for every cut test video I do. So if you follow along with all the cut test videos, you'll be able to see how well different knives do on these different cuts that I do. We're starting off on the single thickness cardboard. And it's the Pyrite here is absolutely breezing through it. Actually, I forgot to show you the edge before we start on the paper. This is a factory edge that I have just stropped up real nicely. So absolutely breezing through this single thickness cardboard like a dream. I did notice, since we have a pretty enlarged sharpening choil / forward finger choil, if you're not careful, the cardboard will get kind of snagged in there as you're passing through the material. But if you stick your finger in there and choke up, then that won't happen because your finger's in there. Cardboard won't get in there. Double thickness cardboard. Going with the grain, absolute destroyed it. This knife has pretty thin blade stock and a pretty thin measurement behind the edge. This is a nice slicey knife. Still in this double thickness stuff. It's a medium-sized knife. Blade is about 3 inches. You get a nice full grip on it. This is actually the White Mountain Knives exclusive version with the G-Mascus, black and white G-Mascus. The Wharncliffe version that's out now on their website is actually a stainless steel version, which is really cool. It's got a lot of milling on the inside, so it will be still pretty light. And we'll get that nice premium feel. I'm stoked to get it. I'll link it down below. So you can see for utility cuts, it works absolutely fine. You gotta lift up your wrist a little bit to get to the tip because it is a drop point with a little belly. But not too bad at all. Pretty impressed at how it handled this cardboard. Pretty impressed overall. We'll see how it goes here as we keep going. But spoiler alert, it does well. So after all the cardboard, we're still slicing paper easily. Still have a bitey edge left on there. Warming up the old paws a little bit. Let's do the glove test. This is an old welding glove. Actually, it's not that old, but I bought these and ended up not really liking them. So I don't wear them anymore. Figured I'd use them for the cut tests. There you can see the layers we're cutting through. Did really well. Not a problem. We'll cut up a little more leather here, why not? So I did notice, as far as the ergonomics go, when you're really gripping it as hard as you can, pushing through like the thick cardboard, or like I do here, coming up, cutting through the strap and the rope, there's no real hot spots per se, but it is kind of a thin knife, so it doesn't really fill out your hand super nicely. So you do feel that. You feel that it's a thin knife. The edges are nicely rounded, but not like super duper rounded. The scales are not contoured. So there are a lot more comfortable knives out there for for gripping it as hard as you can, pushing through material. You can do it with this knife. It's just not the most comfortable, But no real hot spots, like I said. Just overall, not a super comfortable knife to do real hard use with, cutting with. So the strap, this thick old strap, hard for knives to get through. Number one, you usually slip out of the cut before you can get through it. Number two, it's tough on edges. So the Pyrite here, we got about, a little over halfway through. I'm going to try another one here. Yeah, about 3/4 of the way through, a little over halfway through. Not too bad. Definitely tested knives that did a lot worse. I think, part of it's due to the belly that we have on the blade. You're slipping out of the cut. It's a shorter blade than some knives. And, we probably lost some of our bitey edge at this point. All right, the rope test. So I'm almost out of this type of rope. So I'm going to do 2 cut tests on 2 different types of rope, and I want to see if they are comparable as far as like how easily knives go through. So 2 tries we got through this polypropylene rope, which is really actually pretty good. There are some knives that go through first try, but the majority don't. Some don't go through after multiple tries. Some go through after 3 tries, but this one went through after 2, so that's really great. I'm trying this new rope just to see how it compares to the other stuff. It's very similar, it just doesn't feel quite as like plasticky. So 2 tries, we got through it, except for a little bit of a strand left over. I'm gonna try one more. And yeah, 2 tries we can get through it. So it seems to be pretty comparable. I'll keep messing around with this rope. I want to keep it consistent. So I want this rope to be, perform similarly to the last rope that we were using. So check this out. We are still slicing paper after all that. That's more rope than I usually cut on the tests too. Really impressive, man. I'm impressed with this AR RPM 9. Really, I am. Really seems to be pretty good stuff. Holds an edge better than, better than a lot of knives that I test, that's for sure. Let's see how well it responds to the strop. In my experience with it, it seems to respond pretty well. Maybe not as well as like, D2 154cm, 14C, but we'll see. We'll see here. Also, I have done the spine whack test on this knife. I forgot to do it in this video, but I have done it in the past, and it's rock solid. So you can see it with a little bit of strapping. We're still kind of hanging up a little bit. I don't know if it's my angle on the paper. It could be, but we're easily slicing paper now. I'm just gonna strap it a little bit more and see where we're at. I think as far as responding to the strap, it's pretty average for the steels I mentioned before, D2 154cm, 14C. It's right around there. I would say even a little bit better edge retention than those, though, at least judging from this little test. Strappa. My paper's messed up, but we're good. It's slicing easily. Not quite as easily as it was before the testing, but we're back to a pretty good edge. So overall, man, not the most ergonomic knife for really pushing through tough cuts, but very ergonomic for light to medium use. Absolutely. Nice choke up spot. Really great sharpening choil area. Thin blade stock, pretty slicey blade. Great action. This is one of the smoothest button locks I've tried, at least budget button locks. I don't know, great clip. Overall, this is just a really good knife, man. Really good knife. It's around $60, as is the new Wharncliffe version, $60. I think that's a great deal, man. You're getting some pretty good steel. This is a powder form steel, by the way. man, it's just great. It's really, really good. So I would pick up the Warncliffe Pyrite if I were you guys, or you could wait till you see some more reviews on it. Jared Neves already has a first impressions on it, if you can go watch that if you want. So, thanks for watching, dudes. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great Wednesday. Adios.